What's going on, Blazionaires and Blazionettes? I am about to tell you my thoughts on the third season of The Strain on FX. So far, we're like 4 episodes in, so I'm going to tell you what I think of the season so far. Now, there'll be pros and cons, and there are going to be spoilers in those pros and cons, so there is your warning. So get out here if you're not caught up. Alright, here we go. Now, what did I love about this season? I love the theme. I love the intro. I mean, like, the intro is so catchy. I mean, like, I can't tell you how many times I've rewound that intro back after I watched the episode. I'm like, I gotta listen to that intro again. And then I'm just getting into it. Like, it's getting you ready for the episode. Like, you know? I can jam to that shit in my car. Like, for realsies. And also, I love how it has a much better pace than season 2. Season 2 was dragging basically the show through the mud. I'm like, I mean, there were moments I did like, but overall, it was dragging on. I'm like, okay, where are you going with this? I mean, like, I just don't get it. I mean, like, I don't get it. It was really difficult for me to do reviews on season 2, like, that all being said. And, man. But anyway, this is a much better paced. And just like season 1, I'm like, where is that mojo that season 1 had? So it looks like they got that mojo back. So I'm enjoying it. And another thing I do enjoy is Mr. Quinlan's, a little bit of his backstory. I like how we're starting to see a little bit of, like, of his beginnings, or sort, like some of his beginning days. And I like how he's more into the fold with the group now than he was in season 2. I hope they keep that going as the season, as progresses. And another thing that I do like, I like how F is starting to redeem himself a little bit, because in season 2 he was a bit of a douchebag, sleeping with another woman behind Nora's back while Nora is risking her life to protect, Zach, your son. Like, are you for realsies, F? I mean, come on, F, are you for realsies? And also, but I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like, that's just a good example of how dislikable F was in season 2. So in this season, he's starting to be a little redeemable. So we'll see if that carries on through the rest of the season. And I think that's about it for no. One more thing. In the last episode, like, where they had like suicide vampire bombers now, where you have the C4 strapped inside their torsos, and then like 3 of them walk into like a facility or whatever, and then the C4 goes off and all their bodies, like, poof, 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 worms and maggots getting all over everybody. I'm like, oh man, someone major is gonna die, aren't they? They're gonna die during this scene, aren't they? Fett is there, Justine is there. I'm like, no, don't take them, no. And then Fett almost got one on him, and he took his jacket off, and then Justine got one on her face, and I'm like, no. And then Fett quickly picks up one of those lights and then shines it in her face, and then the worm that got in her eye and is working down to her face, it just dies, and just like it turns into a crisp, like, I'm like, did he get it? Did he save her? And then we don't know if they did or not, because there's a chance that they most likely didn't save her. And she asked F, like, how many people survived this? And he said 0. And I'm like, oh man, don't kill her off. No. And then we discovered that she is safe. So, with that all being said, she is the first to survive that. I'm like, what? I mean, we gotta applaud Fett's, like, fast thinking there. We have to applaud his fast thinking. Oh man. Now, what I hate about this season so far. Okay, now I gotta start with, like, how the characters are too safe when they're that close to, like being attacked or being, infected, with the virus getting in their bodies. Like for example, F, when he's in the parking lot and he has to stab one of them in the brain, and with his bare hands, no less, and then he's all drooling and then blood's coming out of his head and whatever, and then I'm like, wouldn't at least one of those worms get inside his hand? Like, okay, so he's safe just because he's a major character. Whatever. And then it happens again with Gus. I mean, like, I hate what they're doing with Gus this season so far. Like feeding his vampire mother, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, he lost his balls officially. For real, like, for real, his balls dropped off. Like, what the hell, Gus? I mean, the virus killed your mother. She's not there. She is going to kill you. She's going to drain you until there's no ounce of blood left in your body. Like, if I were in his place, I'd be like, you know what? The virus took my mother away. I'm not gonna let it happen to me. I choose survival. Slush! But he's feeding her his blood and whatnot and whatever, and then okay, here's another thing. Back to the whole with characters being too safe. He is wearing he's nearly exposed to his mother. I mean, he's wearing a sleeveless shirt, putting on some kind of helmet over her head so he doesn't try to attack her with I guess, or sting her or whatever, or her sting him, I mean. And then when she almost does it, when like there's some holes in there, so some of that slobber or whatever is coming out of her mouth, and then it nearly gets on his arm, and he's safe just because. What the hell? Ugh. And another thing that I don't like is Vampire Kelly. Like, what the hell? Why is she still alive? I mean, they should have just killed her in season 1, like near the end of season 1. There is no point of having her there. Like, what the hell? Have Zach witness F putting her down, and then let that traumatize him for like a good chunk of season 2 or something, instead of this bullshit. Like, I get like, well, Blasian, she's alive, so it can be part of Zach's story, so she can manipulate him. Blah, 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 blah. It is tiring. I'm getting tired of it. It's getting old. Like, they should put her down, like, quickly. Like, come on. I mean, she's not relevant to the story anymore. I mean, like, why can't I just put her down? I don't get it. And another thing I do like is well, I can't say, I do kind of like it, but this is not on the terms of pros and cons right now. But when Ep goes to meet the master and do the trade with the book and Zach, and he has the bag over a kid's head, I'm like, you should have known something is off here. Like, when he's holding the bag over Zach's head, like, why can't we see Zach's face? Why is the bag over his head? That's what I would be asking. And then next thing you know, the bag comes off. Whoop! One of those little vampire kids. Like, shocker! Like, come on. And then Mr. Quinlan comes in. He attacks the master, cuts his head off, and I'm like, wait a minute, that was way too easy. That was way too easy. Like, what? There's no way he's dead. No way, that was too easy. And then the next thing you know, this big giant red worm comes out of the master's decapitated corpse, and then it works its way into the sewer. I'm like, yep, I knew it. He's like Count Dracula. You can't put him down as easily as the other ones. But so far I am enjoying this season, and I also like how Dutch handled who she was hanging with, who she was rolling with. They were on a run. So one gets attacked, another gets attacked, and then the rest of the remaining survivors of that group ditches her. Like, what? They leave her to die. What? And then she catches up with them, and then she sees that, oh, okay, so one of them is infected. Okay, and then he's like, she doesn't care about us. She only cares about herself. And then he cuts his halfway of his head off. Like, good. I love it. Fucking dicks. Karma is a biatch, isn't it? Ah, man. And then, it goes to show you, like, if she was with F in the other group, they wouldn't have left her. Not that easily. They would have made sure she was safe. At least Fett would. Fett would definitely make sure that she was okay. Oh, man. But I can't wait to see what happens with the rest of the season. I'm enjoying what's happening so far. So I thought I'd share my quick thoughts with you guys. And I'm going to have a full review on season 1, or the season 3, on the rest of season 3. I will get back to you on that, and let you know what I think of it as a whole. But yeah, I'm loving it so far. So feel free to tell me what you think of this season so far, and what do you think is your favorite season by far? I don't know. I like to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this little my thoughts on this season, on season 3 so far, make sure you thumb up the video and make sure you click subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, y'all.